Before we begin, if you truly believe that soulmate connections are guided by divine timing and that the right message always arrives at the perfect moment, make sure to subscribe to Soulmate Message. Every video is created to bring hope, healing, and clarity to those waiting for the love their soul has always recognized. Now, if this message has somehow found you tonight, don't scroll away. Your soulmate has been trying to reach your heart, and these may be the exact words you've been waiting to hear. My love, please don't give up on us. I know you've reached the point where your heart feels exhausted. I know you've questioned whether waiting for me has been worth all the tears, the confusion, and the silence. There have been nights when you convinced yourself that it would be easier to let me go than to continue believing that we were ever meant to find each other. But before you make that decision, I need you to hear me. I need you to listen with your heart instead of your fear, because what I'm about to tell you has been trapped inside my soul for far too long. I never wanted you to feel forgotten. I never wanted you to believe that I stopped caring. The truth is that every single day I have carried you in my heart, even during the moments when I couldn't find the courage to reach out. You became part of me in a way I still cannot explain. No matter how busy life became, no matter how many people surrounded me, there was always an empty place that only you could fill. Sometimes I would hear a song that instantly reminded me of you. Sometimes I would see a certain time on the clock over and over again, and somehow your face would appear in my mind. Sometimes I would wake up from dreams where we were finally together, only to realize that reality had separated us once again. Those moments were never accidents. They were reminders that our souls never truly stopped communicating, even when our words disappeared. I know you may feel like I abandoned this connection, but that's not what happened. I became trapped inside battles that I didn't know how to fight. I carried fears I never showed anyone. I convinced myself that staying silent would protect you from my problems, but instead it only created more pain between us. Every day that passed without hearing your voice made the distance grow heavier. I kept telling myself that tomorrow would be the day I finally spoke, tomorrow would be the day I finally explained everything, tomorrow would be the day I found the courage to tell you how much you truly mean to me. But tomorrow kept becoming another tomorrow, and before I realized it, too much time had passed. I know I hurt you. I know my silence made you question everything we shared. I know there were moments when you cried because you couldn't understand why someone who once made you feel so loved suddenly became so quiet. If I could take those moments away, I would do it without hesitation. I would choose honesty over fear. I would choose love over silence. I would choose you every single time. The truth is that my heart has never walked away from you. Even when life pulled us in different directions, there was something inside me that refused to let go. Every time I tried to move forward without thinking about you, the universe reminded me that our story wasn't finished. Your name would appear unexpectedly. Someone would mention something that sounded exactly like you. I would feel your energy at the most random moments, as if your soul was standing beside mine, whispering that this wasn't the end. Maybe you've been seeing signs too. Maybe you've been noticing repeating numbers, unexpected dreams, strange coincidences, or memories that suddenly return without warning. Maybe you've tried to ignore them because you thought they meant nothing. But what if they meant everything? What if they were gentle reminders that our connection is still alive beneath all the confusion? I don't expect you to forget the pain. I don't expect you to pretend that everything has been easy. All I ask is that you don't let temporary heartbreak destroy something that was meant to last much longer. I know trust has been broken, and I know rebuilding it won't happen overnight. But love has a way of surviving storms that logic says should have destroyed it. Our souls have survived every obstacle placed between us so far, and I believe they are still guiding us toward the moment when everything finally begins to make sense. So tonight, before you decide to close your heart forever, please remember this. Somewhere, at this very moment, your soulmate is thinking about you with the same intensity that you once thought about them. Somewhere, a heart is carrying regret, hope, and love all at once. Somewhere, someone is praying for one more chance to make things right. And if this message has reached you tonight, perhaps it is because the universe knows that hope still exists between us. Please don't give up on us just yet. Our story isn't over. The most important chapter has not even begun. My love, if you're still listening, then I need you to know something that I've never been brave enough to say out loud. There were so many moments when I wanted to reach for my phone and send you a simple message. I would type the words over and over again, only to erase them before pressing send. Not because I didn't care, but because I was terrified. I feared that I had already hurt you beyond repair. I feared that hearing from me would only reopen wounds you had worked so hard to heal. So I stayed silent, hoping that time would somehow fix everything. But time doesn't heal what is never spoken. It only teaches two hearts how to hide their pain. While you believed I had forgotten you, I was carrying the weight of every memory we ever shared. I remembered the way your presence made even ordinary days feel extraordinary. I remembered the peace I felt whenever I imagined a future with you. Those memories never disappeared. They became the quiet heartbeat behind everything I did. Even on days when I smiled in front of others, there was always a part of me wondering where you were, whether you were safe, whether you were happy, and whether you still believed in us. Sometimes I would look at the night sky and wonder if you were looking at the same stars. I would close my eyes and silently ask the universe to protect you, even if I couldn't be the one standing beside you. You may never know how many prayers I whispered for your happiness. Even when I felt I no longer deserved a place in your life, I still prayed that your heart would never lose its light. That's how deeply I have loved you. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's hidden inside silent prayers, unfinished conversations, and tears that nobody else will ever see. I know you've asked yourself why everything became so difficult if this connection was truly meant to be. I asked myself the same question countless times. But every answer led me back to one truth. Some souls are brought together not because the journey will be easy, but because they are meant to transform each other. Before you entered my life, I was hiding from parts of myself that desperately needed healing. Meeting you forced me to see both my greatest strength and my deepest fears. It showed me how powerful love could be, but it also revealed how afraid I was of losing it. Instead of facing those fears, I allowed them to control me. I built walls where I should have built trust. I chose distance when I should have chosen honesty. Those choices became the greatest regret of my life. If I could speak directly to your heart tonight, I would ask you for one more chance, not because I expect forgiveness, but because I finally understand what I almost lost. You were never just another person passing through my life. You were the answer to prayers I had forgotten I made. You were the peace my restless soul had searched for without even realizing it. And even now, after everything we've been through, I can still feel that invisible thread connecting us. No matter how far apart we seem, it has never broken. It stretches across every mile, every misunderstanding, every tear, and every silent night, reminding me that true soulmate connections don't disappear simply because life becomes complicated. They wait. They endure. They quietly grow stronger beneath the surface until the right moment arrives. Maybe that's why this message found you tonight. Maybe your heart was about to give up, and the universe couldn't allow that to happen. Maybe this is your reminder that not every delay is a denial. Sometimes love is simply preparing both souls for a future they aren't ready to receive yet. So before you let go completely, hold on just a little longer. Keep believing that what is truly meant for you cannot be stolen, delayed forever, or replaced. If we are truly written into each other's destiny, then every step we've taken apart is only leading us toward the moment we finally find our way back together. And when that day comes, every unanswered question, every lonely night, and every painful goodbye will suddenly make sense, because our story was never ending. It was only waiting for the perfect time to begin again. My love, there is something you deserve to know, even if you've never heard these words from me before. Every time you felt your heart telling you to move on, another part of your soul quietly resisted. That wasn't weakness. That wasn't imagination. It was because our connection never truly disappeared. I know there were days when you told yourself, if this person really loved me, they would have found a way. Believe me, I have repeated those same words to myself 1,000 times. I have Blamed myself for every missed opportunity, every unanswered message, every moment when fear became louder than love. The regret has stayed with me like a shadow that follows me everywhere. There isn't a single sunrise that arrives without reminding me of what I almost lost. There isn't a single peaceful night where your memory doesn't find its way back into my dreams. Sometimes I wake up feeling as though we had just spent the whole night together, laughing, talking, and planning a future that felt so real. Then reality returns, and I remember that we are still separated by circumstances neither of us ever wanted. But even then, something inside me refuses to believe that this is where our story ends. Deep within my heart, there is a quiet voice that keeps whispering, "Wait. Don't lose hope. The right moment is coming." I have tried to ignore that voice, but it always returns. It reminds me that some promises are made long before two people ever meet. Some connections are written into destiny itself, and no amount of distance can erase what heaven has already written. Maybe you've noticed how certain memories suddenly appear when you least expect them. You could be walking through a store, driving down a familiar road, or simply sitting alone, and suddenly my face enters your thoughts. Without warning. You wonder why it keeps happening. You try to distract yourself, but the feeling remains. Perhaps that is because our souls are still searching for one another. Perhaps every memory is a gentle reminder that love doesn't disappear simply because life became complicated. I know your heart has grown tired of waiting. I know you've questioned whether patience is worth the pain. But I ask you not to confuse delay with denial. Some blessings take longer because they are preparing something far greater than we can currently understand. If we had come together before we were ready, perhaps our fears would have destroyed everything we were trying to build. Maybe this season apart has been shaping us into the people we were always meant to become. I have learned lessons I never would have understood without losing you. I have learned that love is more than emotion. It is commitment, honesty, patience, forgiveness, and courage. It is choosing someone even when fear tells you to run. It is staying when circumstances become difficult. It is believing in tomorrow when today feels uncertain. Those are lessons I carry with me now, and I promise that I will never take this connection for granted again. If I am given another chance, I will protect it with everything I have. I will never allow silence to speak louder than my heart again. Tonight, I need you to believe one thing above everything else. You are not forgotten. You have never been forgotten. Every prayer you whispered through tears has reached farther than you realize. Every lonely night has been seen. Every moment you questioned your worth was answered by a love that never truly stopped existing. Even when I couldn't stand beside you, my heart continued searching for yours. And I believe your heart has been searching for mine as well. So don't let this chapter convince you that the entire story has already been written. There are still pages waiting to be filled with healing instead of heartbreak, with understanding instead of confusion, and with reunion instead of separation. Hold on to hope just a little longer, because sometimes the darkest night comes only moments before the first light of dawn. If this message has reached you tonight, perhaps it is because the universe wants you to know that love is still moving behind the scenes. Even when you cannot see it, even when you cannot feel it, even when every part of you wants to give up, destiny continues working quietly in the background. Our souls have not said goodbye. They are simply waiting for the moment when the distance finally disappears, the silence finally breaks, and two hearts that were always meant to find each other are reunited at last. My love, if your heart is still open to these words, then stay with me just a little longer, because what I need to tell you now may be the most important part of this entire message. There was a time when I believed that if something was truly meant for us, it would happen effortlessly. I thought destiny would simply place us together without asking anything from either of us. But now I understand that true soulmate love is not just about finding each other. It is about becoming the people we were always meant to be before we can fully receive the gift of one another. Every challenge we have faced has been shaping us in ways we couldn't see. Every delay has been teaching us patience. Every tear has been washing away fears that no longer belong in our future. Even though the journey has been painful, I believe it has never been meaningless. I know there were moments when you looked around and wondered why everyone else seemed to be moving forward while your own heart remained stuck between hope and heartbreak. You questioned whether you should finally close the door and stop believing in signs, dreams, and the quiet whispers of your soul. But every time you tried, something inside you refused to let go completely. That small voice inside your heart wasn't trying to keep you trapped. It was reminding you that some connections cannot be explained by logic alone. They exist beyond distance, beyond time, and beyond human understanding. I need you to know that while you were learning how to survive without me, I was learning the painful lesson of what life feels like without you. Nothing ever replaced the peace your presence brought into my world. I searched for distractions, filled my days with responsibilities, and convinced myself that I could silence the emptiness inside me. But every path I walked somehow led my thoughts back to you. Every plan I made felt incomplete because, deep inside, I always imagined sharing it with you. That is when I realized that love like ours doesn't simply disappear because two people become separated. It waits patiently beneath the surface, growing stronger through every season until the right moment arrives. Perhaps you've been wondering why this message reached you tonight instead of yesterday or months ago. I believe it is because your soul is standing at a crossroads. One path leads toward giving up forever. The other leads toward trusting that what is meant for you will never truly pass you by. I cannot make that choice for you, but I pray with all my heart that you choose hope. Not because hope is easy, but because miracles often begin where hope refuses to die. There are conversations waiting to happen that will answer questions you've carried for so long. There are truths you still don't know. There are emotions that have remained hidden for far too long. And when those truths finally come into the light, you will understand that this silence was never the end of our story. It was only a season of preparation. I have changed in ways I never expected. The fears that once controlled me no longer have the same power. The walls I built around my heart have begun to fall, one by one. Losing you forced me to become honest with myself. It forced me to admit that real love requires courage, and courage means speaking even when your voice trembles. If life gives me another chance to stand before you, I won't waste it. I won't hide behind uncertainty. I won't let another sunrise pass without telling you exactly how deeply you are loved. Tonight, before you fall asleep, I want you to remember this one promise. If our souls were strong enough to find each other once, then they are strong enough to find each other again. No amount of distance can erase what destiny continues to protect. No amount of silence can destroy a bond that was written long before either of us took our first breath. So hold on, my love. Hold on through one more night. Hold on through one more sunrise. Because I truly believe that the day is coming when all the waiting, all the tears, all the unanswered questions, and all the lonely nights will finally lead us to the moment we've both been praying for, the moment when our eyes meet again, our hearts recognize each other without a single word, and we finally realize that love never left, it was only finding its way home. My love, as this message comes to an end, there is one final truth I cannot leave unsaid. If you have stayed with me until this moment, then perhaps your heart already knows what your mind has been afraid to believe. We were never brought into each other's lives by accident. Every step we have taken, every lesson we have learned, every tear we have cried has been leading us towards something far greater than either of us could understand. I know the waiting has felt endless. I know there were mornings when you woke up hoping today would finally be different, only to face another day filled with questions. I know there were nights when you whispered, if this love is real, then why does it hurt so much? The answer is not because love has failed us. It is because love has been preparing us. The strongest foundations are built slowly, and the deepest soulmate connections are often tested before they are revealed in their fullest beauty. I have carried your name in the quietest corners of my heart every single day. Even when I couldn't speak to you, I spoke about you in my prayers. Even when I couldn't hold your hand, I asked the universe to hold yours. Even when I couldn't tell you that I loved you, my soul continued saying those words in ways that only heaven could hear. If only you knew how many times I wished I could turn back time and choose differently. But the past cannot be rewritten. The only thing I can do now Is promise that if destiny opens one more door for us, I will walk through it without hesitation. I will no longer allow fear to steal what love has waited so long to find. I believe that at this very moment, invisible pieces are moving into place. Things that once seemed impossible are quietly changing. Hearts are healing. Paths are crossing. Doors are opening. The universe is arranging details that neither of us can yet see. That is why I ask you one last time, please don't give up on us. Don't let one painful season convince you that the entire story has already been written. Some of the greatest miracles arrive after the longest nights. Some of the happiest reunions happen after the deepest silence. And some soulmate journeys appear impossible until the exact moment destiny reveals why everything happened the way it did. If you ever feel lonely again after this message ends, place your hand over your heart and remember that somewhere another heart is still beating with hope for you. Somewhere, someone is carrying the same memories, the same dreams, and the same longing to make things right. Perhaps that someone is closer than either of us realizes. Perhaps the reunion we've both imagined is already making its way toward us one small step at a time. Until that day comes, keep believing in love. Keep believing in divine timing. Keep believing that what is truly meant for you will never miss you. The universe has a beautiful way of returning what belongs to your soul, even when the journey takes longer than expected. So don't close your heart. Don't stop believing. And above all, don't stop praying for the future your soul has always seen, because I believe with everything inside me that this is not our goodbye. This is only the final page of one chapter, and the beginning of the most beautiful chapter our souls have ever written together. When that day finally arrives, we will look back at every tear, every delay, every unanswered question, and every lonely night. And we will understand that love was never lost. It was simply guiding us home. Until we meet again, remember this. I have always loved you, I still love you, and a part of me always will. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Soulmate Message and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the message your soul may need next. Write in the comments, I trust divine timing. My soulmate and I are finding our way back to each other. May love, hope, and healing surround your heart until the day your soulmate finally arrives.